Welcome back to another episode of Bassin with Capt Lou. Guys, there's a reason you guys are with me right now with this boat moving. It's so hot right now that the camera is overheating. If I don't keep this boat moving and put air over that camera, it's overheating so quickly that this is like my 10th attempt to trying to shoot this video. And the only way it's gonna work is if I bring you guys along with me in this little idle trip. So late summer, early fall tactics. As you can see, the first thing you're gonna have to contend with out here is the heat. As the rest of the country starts getting ready for their dips in temperatures and the changing of the leaves and all that great stuff, we're not as fortunate down here in South Florida. We got to deal with this heat for a while longer. On top of that, we're in the peak of hurricane season, which we just had one a couple of weeks ago go through the area. So it affects our fishery, and that's why I thought I should shoot this video, because I want to focus this video onto my new subscribers who are new to bass fishing, or if you're new to South Florida and you just want to get an understanding of how to fish these systems. Our summer, and actually our spring as well, was a very wet spring and a very wet summer, meaning a lot of storms, a lot of water. Because of that, this area is just saturated, and to make matters worse, because of the Everglades restoration project and also managing the lake, they are moving so much water south that these areas right now are just saturated with water. Now, although I'm all for Everglades restoration, I'm all for that, it does make fishing down here a lot more challenging than it has in the past because of this volume of water. So in this video, I'm going to cover two things that I feel are going to help you guys, especially if you're new to bass fishing down here, help you guys bring some bass in the boat if you choose to come out in these conditions. The bass are here, and the peacock bass are here. There's no doubt about that. But you got to deal with a few conditions that I'm going to go into right now. So as you guys can see, besides dealing with the heat and humidity, we have to deal with high water. And the reason why high water is such an important factor to contend with, it's because our Everglades systems consist of canals, and these canals border marshes. And what happens is when the water gets really high, the water comes up and spills over these marshes. And these marshes actually get pretty deep themselves. They get anywhere between 3 to 5 feet. Beautiful habitat for bass, and they just go inside the marshes. Now, if you're equipped for marsh fishing, meaning you have the proper equipment to get in there, I'm sure you guys are having a good old time fishing inside those marshes. But for the rest of us who are not equipped to fish in the marsh, this video is for you. Because the other areas that we have to focus on are the canal systems. And for years and years, this was not my favorite time of year. It still isn't because it's so hot. But it's all because of the systems. I chose systems that had marsh access. And my fishing was horrible. Horrible. Because I couldn't catch anything. I was like, where did all these bass go? So as time went on, I started focusing my attention on contained systems or closed systems. And what do I mean by that? These are still canal systems, as you guys can see over my shoulder. It's a very long canal system, but you don't see any marsh access. It's all closed in. So there's two factors that I have to deal with now. I eliminated the marshes, but now there's two other important factors that I got to deal with. And that is, I still got to contend with the high water, and I also have to contend with current. See, these closed canal systems are conduits, okay? They're conduits for them to move water, and they move water south through these vast canal systems. So that current can be a major factor. And again, if you're not equipped for current, it can be very frustrating. And the reason for it is because the current has the boat spinning around. You can't maintain contact, or you can't maintain good boat position because you're dealing with current so much. But I've learned throughout the years and through speaking with a lot of great friends who are much more experienced anglers than I am, that current is not necessarily a bad thing. Current is actually a good thing because these fish take advantage of the current to feed. But how you set up and fish in the current will dictate your success on the water. And if you watch my power fishing video or the power fishing fluke video, I talked about one aspect of fishing in current, and that is fishing shallow cover, okay, because of the current breaks. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus my attention on talking about the other areas that you should be looking at. And the other area you should be looking at is down below. I'm not an electronics expert by no means, but I do use electronics a little bit just to give me a snapshot or a picture of the bottom that I'm dealing with. Keep in mind, if you're new to my channel or you're new to fishing down here in South Florida, our canal systems are man-made. They were dug out years ago, and they fluctuate in depths. They have very deep holes. they have cutouts, they have boulders, they have a lot of rock. So this is not a cookie cutter system. It's not flat. It has a lot of stuff down there. And the reason why that's a good thing, and it didn't dawn on me till later on in my fishing career, was that type of cover or that type of structure served as a current break. So what happens is that these fish, peacocks and largemouth, will utilize this structure to hide and take a break from that current. And that's where we have to take advantage of the situation and focus our attention in those particular areas. So if there's one message I could get across to you guys, it's current breaks. And what do I mean by that? A current break is anything that obstructs that current, and behind it, there's a break, meaning the water is not as turbulent. So imagine this is a boulder under the water and the current is going this way, and there's a lot of current. The current will break around that boulder, right? But behind that boulder, the current is not that much. So the fish will break around that, and they'll give themselves a breather, and then they'll jump back into the fray to continue feeding. So if you can identify areas that offer these breaks, then those are the areas you should be focusing on to try to catch these fish. Now, there's two techniques that can help you achieve that. And this video is not going to be about these techniques, but I'm going to mention them. You should consider your Texas rigging techniques, meaning fish with some weight to give you some bottom contact. And a spin-off of the Texas rig is the Carolina rig. So you're looking for bottom contact type of baits and lures for you to be able to feel the contours of that bottom and know and identify where your current breaks are at. And if you get a hit or you get several hits in a general area, then that's the area you should be focusing your attention on. So as far as the equipment, I keep things very simple, if you guys know. For my Texas rigging, I use a medium to a medium heavy type of rod, and I use braid with a very long leader. I use a 20-pound braid for my main line. In some cases, I may use anywhere between 15 to 20 pounds leaders, either fluorocarbon or monofilament, depending on the approach. On my power fishing stuff that I talked about on my previous video, it's all braid 100%. Because of the stuff that I'm fishing with, like you guys can see over my shoulder, and I talked about it on that video, was deep cover. If it's deep cover like this, thick cover like this, I go 100% braid. Now, tips on how to specifically fish these type of areas. When I'm fishing the Texas rig or the Carolina rig, the main thing that you gotta keep in mind is you gotta fish slow. And the reason for that is because you gotta maintain that ground contact to feel where these boulders or where these pockets are for you to focus your attention on. And especially if you get a bite. If you get a bite while you're doing that, those are the clues that you got to slow down or start finding areas that contain a lot of deep structure. Now, a lot of this is easier said than done because it's very hot. It's very humid. You are going to be tested. If these conditions are not for you, I understand it. You have options. You either fish very, very early in the morning, or you fish in the late evening or at night. Those are your two options. Our temperatures are not going to change for quite some time. Some people fish only 6 months out of the year and they wait it out. I understand that the conditions are brutal. I don't have that luxury. I have a guide business. I got to have my finger on the pulse all the time to know what these fish are doing. And this video will serve as like a fishing report for the late summer, early fall, because these are the patterns that I think they're going to hold true through the next couple of months, because the water levels are not going down anytime soon. They're still going to be current. The marshes are still going to be full. So Hopefully the information helped. So again, hopefully the information helped you guys. Like this video, share this video, better yet, subscribe and join the community. We are growing. My goal is 1,000. We're getting there, we're over 500, but I can't get there without your guys' help. But again, I apologize for the unorthodox video. And if you want to learn about power fishing the fluke, I strongly recommend you guys watch this video right here, because a lot of it's going to make sense in regards to what I talked about in this video. So again, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.